everyone, this is Carol from Practical Mystic. Thanks for joining me today as I continue with part 2 of the Universal Year 9 and its meaning. In this video, I will cover a brief description and meaning of the Jewish Kabbalah and the Tree of Life that is relative to this discussion, along with the corresponding tarot cards, and I will be discussing a few of the astrological planets associated with the tarot cards and the Kabbalah. I'll also discuss how one of the 7 chakra has and continues to hold significance on the Tree of Life and where the related planet to this chakra is currently. We'll look at its effects and how to balance this important chakra if necessary. So, folks, just to recap in part 1, I would like to talk about what the theme is for 2025, which ends up to be a universal year 9. It's evolution through a process of letting go, turning within, and adjusting to changes which you and I may have little or no control over. But please know that all of this is for a purpose, and that the reason I am doing these videos, as well as the multitude of videos that I am seeing online and in YouTube, is that many of us feel like the time is at hand for spiritual, personal growth and understanding. Now, as I was preparing this video, I came across this quote. I apologize, I cannot give credit to the author of this quote, but I think it encapsulates what I'm trying to express in these videos. And I quote, "Life is a journey of the soul back to God, attempting to recapture forgotten wisdom along the way." Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the Kabbalah. Now, what I'm presenting to you is really going to be a simple discourse on some of the major facets corresponding to the Kabbalah in this presentation. Kabbalah comes from the Hebrew word capital QBL, which means from mouth to ear. Therefore, really signifying that it began as a secret and oral tradition of the esoteric and mystical divisions of Judaism. Today, it is openly discussed and talked about in books, as you can see here in the picture of the Tree of Life. Now, the Tree of Life is a symbolic explanation of the origin of this universe, the relationships of us human beings to the Godhead and all creations. Very quickly, you see 3 pillars. You have the pillar of mercy, severity, and equilibrium. Take note that you see these pillars in the High Priestess, Hierophant, and Justice. Okay, now preparing again for this video, I came across an old article that I printed out here. I checked to see if the website was still in operation. It is not, but I do want to give credit. It was Jer's World, JER''S. I found it very helpful in my beginning studies and explanations of the Tree of Life. This was printed out back in 1998. So I am going to read from it because it's very specific, and I want to make sure that I give you the right information about the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. And I'll begin with this. Occultists in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn use the Kabbalah Tree of Life as a matrix or grid for comparing the archetypal images of different mythologies that could be adapted to ceremonial magic. For example, the merciful Father Chesed, who is here for has paralleled in other pantheons, namely Odin, which is Scandinavian, Zeus, which is Greece, Jupiter, which is Rome, and Ra, which is Egypt. This system of comparison became known as mythological correspondence. It has become common in the occult tradition to link the 10 Sephiras to the Tree of Life with the 22 paths, major cards of the tarot. So this segues right into our discussion. Now, you heard me say Chesed. I want to expound a little bit about Chesed, number 4. I will be reading from this handout, but I just want to put here that the number 4 is a sacred number in esoteric knowledge. The reason being is it adds up to 10, which is glory, which is the first of the double numbers that explain everything. And how you achieve that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. So let's read a little bit about Chesed. The 4th emanation on the Tree of Life. Occultists identified Chesed as the ruler, but not creator, of the manifesting universe, and he is characterized as stable, wise, and merciful, by contrast with his more dynamic opposite, Jabberah. Okay, so again, we have mercy, severity, equilibrium. Both are necessary. One is not better than the other. So that is his opposite. And then finally, again, the last that I'm going to be reading from this handout has to do where all the emphasis is. Number 9, which is here on the Tree of Life, right on the pillar of equilibrium. It is called the foundation. It is ruled by the moon, and it is called in Hebrew Yesod. And I read, the 9th emanation on the Tree of Life, Yesod, is associated with the moon and the element water. Regarded as a feminine sphere, it is the seat of sexual instincts and corresponds to the genital chakras on the archetypal man, Adam Kadmon. I will explain that next. On the Tree of Life, Yesod has the function of channeling the energies of the higher down to the earth below Malkut, the first Sephira. Occult associate Yesod with the astral plane because if the Sephira above Malkuts are regarded as a map of the unconscious psyche, then Yesod is associated the greatest with the mind. Because Yesod is the fear of fertility and lunar imagery, it is identified with witchcraft and goddess worship. It also been called the animal soul, known by the Kabbalists Nefesh. Okay, let me first explain Adam Kadmon. And what Adam Kadmon, now here is a picture that I was able to get offline. And basically, Adam Kadmon's term means primordial man. It alludes to the first thought, ultimate purpose of God's creation. Now, it is also, it has a role. It's supposed to represent the chakra systems, namely for the purpose of spiritual development. And in this old, one of the old books that I have acquired shows Adam Kadmon, and better, it shows kind of where the archetypal man is, let's say, laid into the Tree of Life, the template. So to kind of conclude, the Tree of Life can be used as a template kind of for multiple systems of self-knowledge, higher spiritual understanding, and when you use it for, where's my picture here? When you use it for understanding the 22 paths of the tarot, many people use it along with visualizations, along with mantras, along with sound, excuse me. And I would like to emphasize the importance of breath. Breath work is also very significant, a significant way to kind of get in tuned, in touched, relax with a contemplative mind, get you in another kind of another plane, if you will, with the power of your breathing. So let me end this before we get into the chakra. I want to end this with what the word that we just said, nefesh, the animal soul. Okay, this is the description that I have. The Hebrew word nefesh has a multifaceted meaning in the Old Testament. It is often translated as soul or life, but its usage extends to denote the essence of a person, the inner being, or the forces. I also, again, don't want to give you too much information, but when you study the Kabbalah, you will learn that it represents 3 souls. So the Yasad is the animal soul. Here, another printout that I have, here's Yasad and Nefesh, the ego. This is the first soul. The second soul is Rush. And then the highest and third soul is Meshema. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but there are 3 souls in the Tree of Life. We are working with the ego, the lunar, the imagination, the mind, the subconscious, right here. So we have the animal soul called Neshef. Okay, let's go to what all of this was kind of alluding to. Oh, wait a minute. I also want, you know what I also want to show you. You might have noticed, wait a minute now, we have different spellings of the Kabbalah, and that has to do with the timing and the tradition. So when Kabbalah is spelled with the C, that is the Christian tradition. When it's spelled with the K, which is often the one that we see the most of, that is the Jewish tradition. When it's spelled with a Q, that is the Western Hermetic tradition. So that's why you're seeing different spellings here. All right. Now when you, I'm sorry, I'm looking for okay. We just kind of explained the importance of the root chakra. And I also have this printout, and this printout is by magicalcrystals.com. Let's talk a little bit about, let me get these out of the way. Let's see if we can bring this down a little bit. Maybe you can see it a little better. Okay. And I'm sorry it's not darker, but I will explain. Let me recap very quickly. We are working with the base chakra, Yesod. We saw the archetypal man and the first chakra depicted here. Okay. There's 2 reasons why I'm covering this in great detail. First, the Sanskrit name for this chakra is Muladhara. It is the root support. The location is at the base of the spine. The color is red. The planet is Saturn, Earth. And the mantra is Lam. Now, if the chakra is balanced, you're going to feel grounded, physically fit, fearless, energetic, and joyful, safe, and secure. If this chakra is out of balance, you may feel laziness, apathy, lack of motivation, weak physical health, fear and insecurity, anxiety and depression. The second reason I'm bringing this is because Saturn in Pisces began March 5th, 2023. It will be there till May 25th of this year. A lot of us need to work, myself included, with the root chakra, get it back in balance for many, many reasons, especially now that we entered into the 9 universal year vibrational energy. I also printed out from the same place these yoga positions and hand positions, you can also call them mudras, that may help us balance the root chakra very simply, not having to go into a full meditation, but maybe doing these along with deep breathing. Repeat the affirmation that you see here. I will leave this up for a few minutes. You may want to take a screenshot, and then I will continue. All right. With everything that I said prior, I also want to now focus on the planet Saturn, who has been there for, let's say, 1 year and 10 months in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. We know that Saturn definitely is Earth. Therefore, it is somewhat weakened, having difficulty establishing any kind of foundation, and we are in the sphere of foundation, maintaining boundaries. So Saturn is not a happy camper, and it may be preventing us to almost feel like we're getting somewhere. We're feeling unattached. We may be feeling disconnected from other people, even disconnected from our true selves. So there is this ebb and flow, almost like we are in a pool of water, and we are trying to hold on to something, and we may find temporary relief, but not a substantial feeling of security at any time during this time. Now, add to it, let's not forget that Pisces ruler is Neptune, and Neptune is known to dissolve boundaries. Now, one last thing which I would like to say concerning Saturn at this time is that what I've been hearing from clients and from friends, associates, is that there is a lack of direction, a sense of not knowing where you are going at this time. This was another reason why I decided to really emphasize and search what was going on with Saturn in Pisces. And that search has led me to ask these questions, and I think they're very, very appropriate right now in understanding what's going on, or the reason for what is going on. And this is the question that I posed to myself, and I'm posing to you right now. Is humanity currently being asked to form new thoughts and perceptions as the boundaries of the world are shifting and changing around us? The answer that I got for myself was definitely yes. Because of the information that I just covered, my own experiences of understanding the influence of Pisces, where it is, and that Neptune really kind of hit home, and I'm taking it out right now. Looking at Neptune, Well, Neptune in the tarot corresponds to the Hanged Man. There is certainly no feeling of groundedness. So there's part of that purpose, right? So we look at the Hanged Man, and my knowledge of numerology, I understand that I have to reduce it to the core number, and 12 is 3. And this is what I have surmised the lessons and the interpretations of the Hanged Man and the Empress, especially since the Empress, and let me get back my chart here. On the Tree of Life, the Empress is at a crossroad, let's say. She is here between wisdom and understanding. This is knowledge, also known as the abyss, and it's also called the door or the gateway to the light. So this really rang true with me, and this is what I came as a conclusion to my thought process that I'm sharing with you, and I am reading this. Looking at the Hanged Man, reversal of one's thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions of the world, clearing out that which no longer exemplifies or nourishes you, cultivating the ground which fertilizes your mind and heart, thus giving birth to higher consciousness. Now, lastly, with all that said, and if you are interested, please let me know what you think about my take on Pisces, the ruler Neptune, the tarot cards, their correspondence. But additionally, I wanted to give you more food for thought, and I looked at the Liz Green. She is a wonderful astrologer. The first book that I ever had from her was Saturn, A New Look at an Old Devil. And of course, I'm paraphrasing from her book, but when I read what she wrote about Saturn, either in a water sign or in water houses, she said that that's when he is teaching his deepest lessons. Specifically, she said, she believes that it has caused in the past and is causing this feeling of loneliness and isolation. She believes that ultimately Saturn is here teaching us something, which of course is what I reiterated. There's also a reason for our discernment, our suffering for sure. And she says that Saturn is causing us to finally reach down and grab our emotional baggage and have the courage to kind of unpack it. And that is, of course, in the realm of the subconscious. And I thought, wow, the realm of the subconscious. Well, we're there. We're in the subconscious. We are in 9. It is ruled by the moon. Let's take tarot card out, the moon. So that's now connecting us to the subconscious, is it not? And that's where she says the lessons can be learned. So tarot card 18, 9, the moon, represents this process because water in the tarot represents our perceptions, our feelings, and hidden emotions. It doesn't mean that our perceptions are correct. This is why the hangman had to do what he needed to do, to change those perceptions, get another viewpoint, understand that maybe his beliefs have not been grounded in truth or have worked for him anymore. So the moon card here is another connection to the sign Pisces, corresponds to the subconscious, and of course to the tree of life, Yesod, which we just covered earlier. So taking all of this, I figured, well, let's not finish here. The next card after the moon is the sun. And in my opinion, kind of brings to light what Liz Green was suggesting, because 19 is renewal. The higher self has triumphed, breaking free from the limiting structures that were in force but were necessary from Saturn. Remember, Saturn is called the taskmaker. Saturn is karma. The subconscious, if you believe in reincarnation, holds the unfinished business from past lifetimes. So here, the newfound freedom from what the sun depicts is that, hey, I've triumphed. I now have found a new body, a new mind, a new soul. I've overcome the limitations, this wall. The sun is light. Sunflowers represent how they grow and turn towards the light. So he has been enlightenment by giving himself rebirth, which also connects him to the priestess, or the empress, excuse me. So with all that said, I really think that if we work at uncovering those things that have seemed to limit us, maybe keep us bound to the past, we can't break free. Certainly 9 is going to help us let go. And working on the base chakra, I think, is also going to be helpful. So friends, I'm going to leave it there. It looks like there's going to be a part 3 because there's so much else that I want to cover. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. And we'll talk again soon, everyone. Bye for now.